Why should China be able to dictate who we speak to, who our president-elect speaks to?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right, Charles. They shouldn't. However, there is a question here, and the big question that, naval strategists and the president coming in will have to decide is how much are we willing to back Taiwan? And, this has been an ongoing question, and I don't think we're going to get into a shooting war with China over Taiwan. On the other hand, Taiwan has significant importance to China, and I think that it's clear that the president-elect is using this as a potential bargaining chip. I'm not so sure how effective this is going to be. Nonetheless, it's a path he's going down.
Well, here's the thing, Michael. We know our greatest rival, perhaps, in the world, without a doubt, in my mind at least, is China, militarily, economically, in other ways. And they've been rather belligerent with Barack Obama building the South China Sea, those islands there, thumbing their nose at international law, hazing our ships and aircraft. It feels like we've got a very aggressive would-be foe that somehow needs to be slowed down in some respects.
Well, Charles, the pattern of the Obama administration, as it really was of the Bush and administrations before it, was to try to ignore what China was doing that impinged on our interests or threatened our friends and allies, because we were thinking that, number one, all we really cared about was trade, and number two, and that, of course, was going well, and that number two, one day China would start acting like the rest of us. They'd start paying attention to these rules and these norms. And the fact is they've gotten stronger. They have gotten, as you put it, more belligerent. That's exactly the right way to put it. Trump has decided what he's going to do is not only fire a shot across their bow, but he's going to relink all of these things. He's going to relink the politics to the economics to the security. He's been repeating that, and I think that's what really worries the Chinese, and that's why they're trying to send us signals to back away from it.
Michael, it feels like some of this is in the playbook. Listen, America talks to Taiwan. We say that we're angry. We fly a long-range bomber. But what's next? What could possibly happen to escalate this further?
Well, some of it depends on what President-elect Trump does. If he keeps talking about, dropping the one China policy, it's not just about Taiwan, Charles. The issue for the Chinese is Taiwan, it's Hong Kong, it's Tibet, it's Xinjiang. They face all these places that are part of their country, or they think are part of their country, that they don't want breaking off. So it's not only about Taiwan, though Taiwan's the most important. And they can do a lot of things. Look, they could militarize outright these islands in the South China Sea and basically declare that they're going to be controlling the airspace and the sea waters around that. They could get a lot more aggressive on cyber. They could do what they did at the UN, back out of joint resolutions on Syria and undercut the sanctions against North Korea. So this elbow throwing, this is the new normal. This is what they're going to start doing to push him back.
Naveed, 4 years, perhaps even 8 years is a long time for this sort of tough talk to go back and forth. Can you foresee a worst-case scenario?
Well, I was lucky enough to just spend a little bit of time with the Navy P-8 squadron standing up in Naval Air Station Whidbey Island, and I had a chance to sit down with the Rear Admirals in charge of the Patrol Reconnaissance Group, and he was very clear. I mean, the Navy has spent a lot of money on this new P-8 aircraft. What's the worst-case scenario, Naveed, because we got to wrap it up? Okay. Worst-case scenario is we're not going to go to war with China over any of this. The worst-case scenario is that they're going to, as Michael said, they're going to start doing cyber or affect us with trade.
All right, guys. Thank you both very much. Appreciate it.